Yes, you will be getting autographed stuff in them, Brahman.
Welcome.
Just CTV, J-Field.
Welcome.
What are you doing?
Welcome.
You can't do a me. I'm the crazy
Welcome. Welcome.
I'm the crazy one. You don't take my shtick.
Welcome.
Just speak louder.
Welcome to CTV. This is the show where we talk about shows that are on TV.
Why do you have a weird accent right now? I feel
This
like
is
I'm in
Andy.
a cult.
This is Benny.
I got some Kool-Aid. You
This
want
is
some?
Dan.
No.
Let's talk about some shows.
Okay, let's
The Boys.
The boys.
Okay, so I actually don't have a lot of time. I got to take a call, in theory, in 13 minutes. I have not heard from them in a week, but I'm expecting one.
Indeed.
Why do you do air quotes?
I don't know.
He's like, I'm expecting one.
I agree with most of their...
You're saying I'm your brother? Jeez.
I agree with most of their points in The Boys, and that's what they're going to be talking about mostly. But I do want to ask Dan a follow-up question based on our previous thing.
Yes.
So you had a pseudo argument, I guess it was turning into, where I said I
Yes.
found the Deep funny, the way
Yes.
he was so clueless and everything.
I remember that.
And you were like, Benny, that's not funny. And it was like, hey, some people find it funny, some people don't. And we landed it on a weird note.
I think we
Yeah,
were
got
in
awkward.
different
Different
thought
opinions.
processes.
Right.
Or
Processes.
What I wanted to know is my thought process on the Deep. By the way, this is a spoiler show. We're
It is
talking
very.
the whole season of The Boys.
That's why we waited a week before
Yeah.
fully spoiling it.
My thought process behind the Deep being funny and that first scene being funny
Okay.
is how clueless he is. And what I had realized, and I even said this in the show, was you don't really see that to the back end of the season
That is true.
because he's just a creep at the beginning.
I think there is also a difference. Because when you said that just now, I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were laughing at the situation, which was not funny because of the
You
fact
thought
that it
I was
was
laughing at the idea that a guy would flash a girl?
Yes.
No, I was at
Not
That's-
just flash.
but pretty much
Force-
sexually assault.
Yes.
Okay.
That was what I thought you were
No.
laughing
You thought
at.
we're
That's
funny,
why I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, Benny.
What I found funny about the
That's
scene...
not funny.
What I found funny about the scene was when he... Like, I even found it a little chuckle then, but it got funnier when you realized how clueless he really is.
Yes.
Was once she turned around and was like, what are you doing? And his reaction was basically like, I just felt like I was your favorite. This was like what we're going to do. Like that reaction was
Yes.
what I found funny because he was just so clueless about it. And then as you go into the season, you discover how clueless this guy
Yes.
really
No,
is.
as a character, he's very, very clueless. I thought you were laughing at the way that he went into that situation, to which I was thinking, my point was, regardless of the situation, that situation's not funny.
Sexual assault is not funny. I agree with you
Okay.
on that.
The character, the Deep itself, though, going off of that, because later on in the season, I believe it's the last 2 episodes,
He really gets a lot.
They
Yeah.
ship him to Sandusky, which is a landlocked town, for the record.
Which
I'm
I
pretty
thought was
sure.
the funniest thing ever about
Yeah.
him being shipped off.
Yeah,
Of
shipped.
all the places to put him.
Yeah.
They were like, we got one of the Great Lakes, like right over there.
But like as a character, it was funny seeing how clueless he was because he was a walking meme of what non-comic book readers think of when they see Aquaman.
That is true.
And I thought
Yes.
that was perfect because he's talking to a lobster at a tank in a supermarket.
I felt bad
and
for
he's
that
like,
scene.
That
you
was
do.
so bad.
You
I was
felt
like,
so bad. He's
"Aw."
like, he's in this place. He's. It was like right after he's told you matter to no one, essentially,
Yeah.
and he's in there and he's like, "What's wrong with you, bud?" And he's having this little heart to heart, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah."
And he's like, oh, I'm going to do something
gonna
good.
save you.
I'm going to save this
gonna save you.
lobster. Yeah.
I'll have a lobster. This one. He's like, okay. And you're just like, oh my god, no.
What I found funny about that though, is that's not how you don't kill a lobster
No.
before you even bring it home.
Yeah, I was like, what is he doing? I don't even understand.
It was
Is he gonna boil it immediately? Because that's all that you gotta do.
But it was like stuff like that, stuff like the dolphin scene.
Yep.
Which was just
If I touch you, will you be
hilarious.
quiet?
Yes. They're just driving, he's bickering back and forth with this dolphin. And it's just so perfect because it's exactly what you would expect from just a superhero who can talk to fish
it seems like that's all he can do.
and is a loner
Yeah.
and like is at the point of I am alone. I need someone. Dolphin.
Yeah,
I'm gonna save this dolphin.
Yeah.
And then you talk to it. Okay, if I touch it, will you shut up? He's having these conversations that are. It's very funny for one because
The actor's really good too.
He's
'cause
fantastic.
He was having a one-way conversation. Like there was actually
Yes.
With
no
a
dolphin
dolphin.
speaking to him.
Wait,
but,
what?
but at the same time, you heard the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Like at no point were you
feel bad
watching
for
it
the
going,
dolphin.
wow, he's talking to a dolphin. No, you're like, oh, this is a hilarious conversation, because the way that he is responding, you can tell that he's having a conversation. And
I even liked the scene where he was like, one of my
Dolphin is
friends found this, and Homelander's like, tell them what it was.
yes,
A dolphin told me.
it was a porpoise. A porpoise found this. Like I really, really liked that.
One thing that I just to tie on to that.
Yeah,
before I
since
go,
you do have to.
I liked in general when the show started, you were like, all the superheroes are jerks.
Yes.
As we got to the end of the show,
I mean, they're still all jerks.
well, they are,
but they're like real people.
In
right,
different
and you
ways,
discover how
yeah.
they all
Yeah,
got
yeah,
to
yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
Like discovering more about Maeve, Queen Maeve, was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
She was like Starlight at one point, but now
Yeah.
she's
right, and,
know.
and even A-Train. Discovering a little bit more
Yeah.
about the family element on that.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much like the guy who got big and just couldn't
Right.
get out of drugs. And you're like, oh, all of this.
Still
they're
a
all-
jerk.
Yeah, they're still all jerks. Like,
Yeah,
they should all get what's coming to them.
Right.
But
he kind of did.
It's kind of it's kind of interesting because it really, really shows that like the show itself is essentially corporate America, but with superheroes, because all of these things,
Yeah.
there is that up and coming new boss or like new executive in this company that thinks they're going to do great things, but then over time get worn down and are just become Queen Maeve.
Yep.
Like they have like people like that. They have people like the Deep that are there, don't really know why. Then they get removed and they're like, I don't know what to do. Like that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
everything I had. And it was a fantastic show.
It really was. Yeah,
I'm going to let you guys take off and talk a little bit more about it. We're talking about The Boys, for those who are just joining us. I know we jumped into the conversation
Yes.
immediately, but I do have to take a call in a couple of minutes. So that's why I wanted to kind of result.
I am glad we cleared that up because
Right, well, and
we
that-
were.
and
I'm sure
I
there were
wanted to-
some viewers that also were.
Yeah, and I wanted to clarify that real quick because it was left hanging, and I couldn't really say where I was getting my thought process from
Because you would have
hadn't
spoiled
seen the
stuff.
show, and I was trying not to spoil the show.
You've almost hit me like 4 times.
Yeah,
'Cause-
you're-
and I do believe that's the one problem I have with binge watching shows. It's one big movie to you.
It
You're-
is.
It's hard to
Yeah,
tell where things.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
looking at it out of context now, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that first scene with the Deep was shitty.
Yeah.
But once it all comes together, you're like, oh, it's still shitty, but
Right.
at least now we can laugh at his shittiness.
Yeah. But so the show itself.
Yep. So
So
you guys talk about that, and then they're also going to talk about Young Justice because somebody was asking because we normally start with
yes,
that.
I will go
Yeah.
into Young Justice in just a little bit here, guys. Don't worry about that.
you again,
But
guys.
so to continue The Boys, I loved, because you and I have talked about this a
Yes.
little bit before. I loved that throughout the entire thing, there was almost like it was a Venn diagram. It was a Venn diagram of the Soups,
Yes.
the Boys,
Sure.
and then they crossed over with Starlight and Huey.
Right,
Essentially,
yeah,
like
yeah,
in a
essentially.
way, not in the
Yeah.
sense of Starlight's killing Translucent Man, but
Right.
not to that extreme, but in the sense of superheroes are amazing, superheroes must die, happy medium.
Yes. On
And-
both sides. Yeah.
Exactly, and I really, really liked that. I thought it added a big depth to it because it didn't make them the same person on both sides, but the other side slightly in that situation.
Sure. Yeah.
If poor wording, but I'm sure some people are getting what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, though. I cannot get over how good of a show this was.
It was honestly, yeah. I mean, just even the actors. Carl Urban as Billy
Yeah.
Butcher was amazing. I don't know the actor's name who plays Homelander, but he plays a perfect psychopath.
He is absolutely perfect.
I honestly think maybe he might be one in real life. But he did an excellent job at the show. Just the dead look in his eyes and how he slipped into that very fake
Yes.
celebrity. Like, you're the real hero. Like,
Yeah.
anytime he needed to.
That, and every time he smiled,
Oh, yeah.
every time there was the slight smirk to
Yeah,
it
yeah,
of
yeah.
like something's going on behind that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, he's probably thinking about boiling my brains.
Yes.
Yes.
And so if you weren't aware, we spoil things in this show.
Look
the
away
way the way that the last episode concluded.
Yes.
So I'm saying this slowly, so if you don't want the last episode spoiled, I would leave now.
Mute us.
Mute us, something like
Give
that.
it like 5-10 minutes.
I was not expecting it to go the way that
No,
it
I didn't
did.
either,
Like
honestly.
the fact of First off, it was very confusing because Billy Butcher says that Homelander raped his wife.
Yes.
And
Well-
but then you got to that scene and you don't know.
Well, and to be fair, and I think Homelander says it to Billy, how do you know?
Yeah.
And realistically, Billy never had any proof. He had the CIA agent Mallory
Yep.
came forward, showed him the video of his wife leaving Homelander's office.
Them going to the office,
And then
the
leaving
office,
3 hours later.
and then the bench.
The bench. And basically she tells him that Homelander raped your wife. And he is most likely the reason she has disappeared now.
Yeah.
No other proof beyond that.
Yeah.
And Homelander made a great point. Like, how do you know?
Yeah. And then he does nothing and he's like, you can't prove it.
Yeah. And he's like, you're doing all of this off of feeling?
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it was a really good point. He didn't know. And
Yeah.
turns out.
And, I mean, we still don't know. Like, that's the thing.
That is
we
true.
we
Yes.
technically still do not know because you could look at the scene of him opening the office door and her walking in being a consensual thing.
Sure.
But at the same time, this is a guy that could stare at you and kill you. So
Yes.
you're not going to fight.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I hate to say it like that.
No, you're
but
right. You're not wrong.
Everyone in this show knows that when Homelander's involved, you can't.
Yeah, he can do whatever
question
the hell
it.
he
Like,
wants, yeah.
He even says it. I'm Homelander. I can do whatever the F I want.
Yeah.
Show me where. Like,
Yeah.
he has that behind him. And every time that he slips into that moment, if you were looking at it without hearing the conversation, you would be going, oh, they're just chatting.
Yeah,
like
right.
a happy conversation. But in reality, so you don't really know what happens there. The way the show ended, you feel so bad for Billy. You don't know what's going on.
Let's be clear,
the sun
though.
looked weird.
Billy is not a good person either.
No,
by
he is
any
not.
stretch of the imagination.
He is not.
While not a borderline psychopath, or not, let's be honest, there's no border in there. There's a psycho, yeah, like not as level of psychopathic that Homelander is.
Right.
Billy has a level of hatred toward anything that has a superpower.
Yes.
That it, you know, I mean, honestly, borders on racism.
Yeah.
Or is just plain
Well,
racism.
'cause
Yeah.
Billy is a great example of how far you will go when your loved ones are
True,
affected by
yeah.
a certain group. Because this happens all the time in real life. Like people go, this kind of person hurt this person that I
So
loved.
all of these people are bad.
Therefore, they are all bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There ain't
And
no, way,
like,
no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no middle ground. There's no gray area.
exactly. And you really, really see that when you start seeing how Billy reacts to Starlight.
Yes.
Because everyone, you're watching the show, everyone in the show, you know Starlight's a good person.
Yes.
Like there's
At least
no-
now she is, yeah.
Right now she is a good person. There's no evil in her really ever. Even when she's like getting a little evil, you're like, no.
Nah, not gonna happen.
It's like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
little
yeah.
person that's like, I'm gonna be tough, and you're like, you sure are.
Although she did beat up those guys pretty good.
She did,
Yeah.
but just this show, just everything in it has been what I have wanted from a superhero show.
Yeah.
Like it's
A more-
got character development. It doesn't. You can't predict it. That was my favorite.
Yeah, no, there was no.
Because I
There were-
generally try and predict shows when I'm watching
Sure,
them
yeah.
because it's fun going, here's my theory, did it come true?
Right, yeah.
And most of superhero shows, Flash,
Are very predictable.
they're extremely predictable. You
Yes.
know what's going to happen. And this, at no point in the show whatsoever did I know what was going to happen.
Yeah,
And-
I would say, and I mean, just all of the actors. There was not one point where I was just like, this person's okay.
Yeah.
There was no scenes. I felt all the actors were fantastic. I thought the writing on it was great. Like you said, the plot twists are amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
like there was several times me and my wife would be sitting there watching and I go, oh, okay, didn't see that coming. Or, oh,
Yeah.
this is happening. All right. Good to know.
Guess this is a thing now.
There are certain parts that were my favorite. The I-beam shooting baby I thought was amazing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Nope. Oh,
Nope. No, hey, it's not working.
There
now.
we go.
Yeah. Honestly, the whole ending scene with Billy, Homelander.
Yes.
What was the woman's
I
name?
don't even know. I can't even remember
The
her
head
name.
boss lady.
Head boss lady.
Yeah. That was just a fantastic scene.
Fantastic.
Like, and Carl Urban said two things. I think that entire he was literally just
Yeah.
standing there the whole time while Homelander monologues and he's making faces. Yeah, and then the twist ending, which
Right.
should we spoil the twist?
I don't think we should because
No, the ending is a twist. I will
we've-
say that.
We've said enough
Yeah,
that
yeah.
to partially spoil, but not enough that you
Yeah.
will still be like, what?
Yeah. Ending is
I
a big
did that.
twist. I did not see that coming.
No.
I had several theories, and while close-ish,
Yeah.
none of them were that 100%. No.
Same.
Yeah.
I was in the same boat, and I think that's what made this show better
Yeah.
than majority of shows I've seen.
Yeah.
It
And while I would say it's
want season
more,
2.
I would say it's a more realistic take on what real superheroes might be like. Because let's be honest, they would be celebrities.
They would be.
It would, especially in this day and age, it would all be about Instagram and hashtags and
legal problems.
legal
of not-
problems,
yeah.
and it's just how it is. Now, obviously, this is a much more extreme take on that, where
Mm-hmm.
all of the superheroes are assholes. But 90% of them
right.
are, which probably would not be realistic.
Yeah.
You know, just like anything else, you would have good people and you would have bad people, and that's just how it works.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great.
I thought
honestly.
it was one thing I do want to also add, and this was something that really add more humanity to superheroes, was the A-Train race. I thought that was so essentially
That
what
would
happens
definitely be a
is
thing that would actually happen in
would
real
be.
life. Yeah.
No, exactly. Like, because in the Flash, it's always we're both fast. Let's run together.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
teams, like stuff
Yeah.
like that. But in the show, A-Train is the fastest man, and he is on the
Seven.
Seven.
Yes. Essentially the Justice League.
Essentially the Justice League, and he is the Flash. And someone else comes along and is like,
I'm faster.
I have the same powers.
Yeah.
And he genuinely has the, well, if I'm not the fastest man alive,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
am
yeah,
I?
yeah.
Who am I? They don't want me. Like,
Yeah,
there's
nobody
so
wants the
much-
second fastest man alive on
Exactly.
their team. Yeah.
And it's just so, it's so good because it shows you what people will go through to make sure that they keep being the fastest. They
Right.
may-
Which, I mean, is honestly the same thing with just actual athletes.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I'm getting a little older, so I'll probably turn to steroids or some
Yes.
performance enhancing drugs. Which, I mean, that happens all the time.
All the time.
You know, it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm not doing as good as I was in my first season, so I better, you know, maybe take some stuff so I can keep going because I don't want to be, you know, I don't want
Right.
to get kicked off the team kind of thing. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, this show, The Boys, essentially was just honestly, in my opinion, the best way to portray if superheroes were real.
Right.
Because we always look at them as gods among us.
Sure, yeah.
But this
I mean, in
shows,
the movies, that's what they are.
that is what they
Yeah.
are. In the comics, that is what they are. And in this one, it was just perfect because it looked like, okay, would be our world if some people were superheroes. Not if superheroes were added to our world.
Right.
But if some of the people in our world
just
were
happen to be superheroes. If celebrities happen to be superheroes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Yes. Watch it. It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, watch it now.
Watch it.
If you have Amazon Prime, you also get Twitch Prime, which you can subscribe to us at twitch.tv/EligibleMonster, where we stream this live every Monday. Just
Good
sticking
plug.
that in
I like
there.
it. Now, real quick though,
Yes.
what didn't you like about it? There's got to
What
be
didn't
some
I
things.
like?
There has to be something. I mean, it's not a perfect show.
Right.
There wasn't more episodes. No.
Yes. That is definitely one thing I did not like.
Season 2 isn't out yet.
No, there were parts I did not like, but were necessary.
Okay.
And I hate to say it, the scene that we were talking about earlier with the D. Like, I did not like that
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
I did not
I
like
understand,
it.
yeah.
But at the same time, it was needed for the character development of Starlight.
Sure.
It was needed I hate
Okay.
to say that because of what it was, but it was needed for the show's sake. And I mean, it is a R-rated show. Like,
Right. And the whole thing with that was, I think, a lot to do with like the Me Too movement and things like that, where, you know, all these celebrities, you're finding all these celebrities have done all these sexual assaults
Yep.
or sexual harassment,
and
that
you,
sort of thing.
you see it from the point of view of, like,
Yeah.
he was going to threaten to basically say she's a villain, and they would go with the guy who's on the 7, not this new guy.
Right,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
and I understand, because a lot of this also stuff happens in the comics. Bad stuff happens. Life is not always good. So that's why I say that's something that was needed, but not something I liked. As for the show itself, nothing springs to mind.
Honestly, I'm sitting here while listening to you
Yeah.
trying to think of something that I was just like, didn't care for
Because
that part.
everything I'm thinking
Yeah.
of like, oh, I didn't like that. It was my
personal thing.
my
Yeah,
personal
yeah.
reason for not liking that scene, not the show being bad.
Right.
And I thought that was really good. I really like the fact, I didn't look into it, but you and Benny both looked into the comics of it and said that it's very, very different.
Very different.
And
it takes
I
the same
love it.
basic framework.
I
but-
love that.
Yeah.
Because I hate shows that are predictable because you can
Well,
just
yeah,
go, well, what happened in the arc?
Yeah, exactly. Just let me look at the comic real quick. Yeah. So
But-
yeah, and honestly, I'm sitting here trying to come up with like,
can't
there's gotta
think
be
of anything.
And there probably was when I was watching it, some things that I was just like, meh.
Right.
But honestly, there's enough good that it outweighs whatever memories I might have had about.
Yeah, the only thing that comes to mind is just there were some scenes that were stretched out.
Sure.
For example, in I think it's either the first or second episode where they're sitting around trying to figure out how to kill Translucent Man.
Yep.
They would have figured that out way sooner.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
hate to
yeah.
say it, like the fact that he drank the water, the fact
Right,
that they
yeah.
did multiple things that it was like
Right.
you could have figured something out by now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I probably could go back and go, oh, that's right. I wasn't thinking of this other thing that was
Right, right,
happening
yeah,
at the
yeah,
same
yeah.
time because they do have to. It was an amazing show.
Really good. Watch it.
It was really good. Very, very worth watching. But I think that's really all we have to say. about The
we
Boys.
could just sit here and gush more. I
guess
wish that we had
I'll-
gotten more about the noir, Black Noir,
I'm glad we didn't.
because I'm intrigued by
Exactly.
him. I want to know what's underneath that mask.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like they did the perfect amount of him to make you
Yeah.
go, I'm interested, but they did not do enough or anything like that you went,
Oh, I already know what that guy is.
or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
or even just if would disrupt the flow of everything else.
True. Yeah. I
Like,
mean, really, there
because
was no realistic
he
plot
had
you
no
could have put him
reason.
in there. Yeah.
Like he had no purpose.
yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, if we removed the stuff that the Deep did to Starlight
Mm-hmm.
and like all of that, the later scenes with him,
Pointless.
pointless.
Yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah, yeah.
pointless. And I think that's what they did with Black Noir was essentially going, he's here, he's mysterious, but he doesn't have a purpose right now.
Right.
And I thought they did a great job with that.
I think there's one scene where the Homelander is talking to the Seven, and he's like, "You guys have been sloppy. You've been doing this. Now you Black Noir, you're great." And he just like looks. Yeah.
He's fantastic. I love that. I thought every character. The only character I feel should have gotten more screen time and a little bit more was Queen Maeve.
Yeah, we didn't get to. I mean, you
'Cause
learned important bits about
You
her.
learned
Yeah.
important bits, but I feel like it was later on enough in the show that you had not attached to her as
Yeah.
much as the other characters. And they had not attached you to the aspect of her being similar to Starlight enough to go, oh, you guys used to be kind of like that.
Right,
So,
right. I think
but
they didn't
her
do that
biggest
until
scene,
like the last.
yeah, because her biggest scene, which was a big one for me that I really liked, was the plane.
Yes. Yeah.
The plane was so needed of, well, we can save these two. And Homeland's like, so they can tell everyone we
That
left
we-
the rest of them die?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and then the spinning it to make it work for them. And like,
Yeah.
there's just so much of Homelander is the perfect example of someone who's doing it just for his own gains.
Right.
And Maeve is my conscience is catching up to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say before where yeah.
Yeah. But that's really The Boys. I'll talk a little bit about Young Justice. So Young Justice, we're continuing what was going on. Not too much happened.
Okay.
I was a little annoyed because we do have, I'm going to forget her name, Aura. I can't remember. Gabrielle is the body that the mother box that is a
yes,
person,
yes,
essentially.
yeah.
She leaves. She goes, finds the family who controlled her. The family of the body that she now controls to kind of try and give them closure of
Okay.
what happened to their daughter.
Okay.
Or their cousin or whatever she was to them. But so there's some weird stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm.
The team goes and finds Metron. So that, because Vic has to sit in Metron's chair to purge the father box.
Right.
So some weird stuff there. I don't like Violet, Halo, and Gabrielle Aura. Why? I don't know why I thought of that. But yes, Halo is what you would have known her as, Halo or Violet. But so essentially they're doing all of that. And like not too much stuff happens. Like that was the thing. Not too much stuff happens. But then the cliffhanger at the end, it wasn't really much of a cliffhanger. It was more of like a little, behind the scenes kind of thing.
Okay.
Pissed me off. Because it's Tara We get Tara, and we're like, oh, this is a new version of Tara. She's
Okay.
a princess from the country of Markovia in this.
Oh, okay.
Like she's the
That is a- I was
she's
gonna
the
say it's a lot
sister
different, yeah.
of Brion, the magma guy, and then at the end, okay, Slade, I've got, and you're just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Are we going into just
the Lazarus contract again?
Yeah.
And it's just like we've done this so many times. You had the perfect chance to not do that trope and kind of give her a new version of the
Right,
character, and you do that again. And I
Well,
just
we don't know that they've done it again.
We know.
Yeah. No, we don't know.
this isn't The Boys. We know.
We don't know. The baby could have laser eyes.
Good at
We don't know.
Yeah, like that's or Judas contract. What did I say?
Lazarus contract, yeah.
I'm bad.
And then
with
I was like,
names.
in my mind, I was thinking Judas contract. I was like, maybe I've got the name wrong. Happens.
oh, the Lazarus. Oh, that's right. Lazarus contract. I think wasn't that the second one with Kid Flash? I don't know.
I don't
Anyway,
think so. I could be
Point
wrong.
is, it's a thing we've seen too many times.
Sure, yeah.
It's a scene every time we go. My biggest problem with it was them truly. It was essentially them going, yeah, Young Justice is now Teen Titans.
But we don't know that yet, man.
But that's really kind of
Where it is.
That's really
so an
where it
Okan
is.
episode, nothing crazy.
yeah, nothing great.
Yeah, kind of.
But it is still going. Anyway, that brings us to the end because I don't think
I think that was it. I don't think anything else has come out.
I can't think of any
Oh, I
movies.
saw Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh,
Hobbs and Shaw.
another superhero movie. Tell
Another
us about
superhero
it.
movie. This one starring Rock, the superhero. It was entertaining. If
Okay.
you like the Fast and Furious movies, it's more of the same. There's as little emphasis as there are on the cars now in Fast and the Furious. There's even less on them in Hobbs and Shaw,
Right.
Because it's just not who the characters are. I thought it was very entertaining. Jason Statham and The Rock together, very charismatic. They constantly bickering throughout the whole movie.
Right.
Gets a little cheesy at the end where they're like, "We got to do this together." You know, even my wife turned to me and she was like, "Ugh." But it's very funny. The whole movie, they're ripping on each other, and they're basically, it's almost like playing little practical jokes on each other while trying to save the world. If that makes any sense.
I like it. I like it.
You do definitely need to go into this movie with a complete suspense of belief.
Okay.
Like you got to go in this knowing what you're going into.
Okay.
Assume The Rock is able to pull a helicopter out of the air with his bare hands. Okay. You just got to let it happen. All right.
All right.
If you're going in there like that's not even realistic, well, no shit. there's the perfect scene is there's at one point they are daisy chaining tow trucks together to help pull down this helicopter. Okay. Let me try with you on this. All right. So you're daisy chaining trucks together to pull down this helicopter. To do that, they have to chain each one together, right?
Right.
They get it first try every time. Like one guy's literally like he's got both chains. He's like and they immediately wrap and hook. Like there's no issues, right? Like you just got to know what you're going into. If you're looking for Shakespeare or Oscar-winning performances, maybe don't go to this movie. Honestly, if you want The Rock to be driving Rock and Jason Statham to be punching people and driving cars, and possibly this is your movie.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. And this has been an episode of CTV with Andy, who is I am the Andy on Instagram. Benny, who is at Comicstorian, or Benny, or Benny's Beard, or Benny's Beard Adventures. I don't remember all of them. I just say those words.
He's on social media platforms.
Yeah, you can find him. I can guarantee it. If you want to find me, I'm Dan T Producer on Twitter and Instagram, and Dan T Streamer on Twitch. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.